All right, guys, welcome back. I appreciate the support, the love, the subscribers. Thank you very much. Yes, sir. Let's get to 3,000. We're almost there. But yeah, let's get it, guys. Elvis the Generous Heart. In 3, 2, 1. It's that play button.
He did that 68 special, and the ratings were terrific. So he knew the light was still burning, the fire was still there, but he wasn't sure about a live audience. So when he did that opening in Vegas, he was quite nervous. And he told us, he said, guys, he said, I don't know how I'm going to go over, but we were trying to build up this conference. Oh, Elvis, you're going to be great. Elvis, you're going to knock him dead. You got that look. You still got those looks. You got that stage performance in you. And we know that you're going to sing your back-hind off. You're going to really sing your can off. And Elvis, that's all you can do. If they like you, they like you. If they don't, they don't. But Elvis, I guarantee you, they're going to like you. And when he walked out on that stage, and that room was full of a lot of tough people. There was a lot of stars there. There were a lot of critics there, a lot of people who came to see if he still had it or not. They were well connected in show business. And he just blew them all away. And from that moment on, he knew he was back.
It was in 1973 that Elvis made TV history again. His Elvis, Aloha from Hawaii concert via satellite was seen in 40 countries by close to 1.5 billion people. In fact, it was seen on television in more American homes than man's first walk on the moon.
What?
Elvis Presley died in August of 1977 at his Graceland home in Memphis, Tennessee. He was only 42 years old.
I think that a lot of people remember.
I'm still stunned, guys, because I don't know what went wrong. No matter how many times you tell me, it's just crazy.
Exactly where they were when he died, President Kennedy died, maybe Martin Luther King died. So I jump in my car and I drive about 100 miles an hour to Graceland. And I'll never forget, as soon as I got there, they recognized my car and the gate swung open. I shot up to the house, went in the back door, and in that room right off the kitchen, it was turmoil. It was the saddest scene I'd ever seen in my entire life. Everybody was crying. Must have been 8 or 10 people, and they were all crying, holding on to each other, just swaying, holding their eyes. And Mr. Presley ran over. His dad came over and grabbed me, hugged me, and he said, George, I've lost my son. I've lost my son. We've lost him, George. And about that time, his doctor Dr. Nick walks in, and he said, guys, can you gather around? He said, yeah, he passed away. Elvis has left us. And it was like, when he said that, we knew it was official.
I was sick, and someone called me and they said Elvis died, and I said, no, that's a bunch of baloney. Elvis didn't die. They called back and they said, yeah, Elvis is dead. And it was like, you go into shock.
Gut wrench.
You don't believe it. I didn't believe Elvis could ever die. I never thought of the world without Elvis. I never thought, how is the world going to get along? If Elvis is dead, it just couldn't be, but it was. By then, in my life, in my relationship with Elvis, it wasn't over selling him jewelry anymore, because he hadn't bought any jewelry for me in a while. Then, I just loved him and wanted to, be with him.
What an awesome picture.
The cause of death was officially listed as heart failure. There has always been much controversy surrounding Elvis's death and his abuse of prescription drugs that no doubt contributed to his passing away at such a young age. In the end, however, on balance, the good and positive things Elvis contributed to the world, the absolute joy he gave to millions the world over and continues to give, far, far outweigh the few negative aspects of his life.
I just want to say, they should have stopped him from, taking all the medicines. I get it, he's famous and everything, and it was hard probably to say no to his face, but still. When you see something wrong, you got to do something about it, speak up. Just say no. There's other ways to deal with it, But yeah, that really, that's terrible.
The difference in Elvis and everyone else was that he obviously loved his fans. He cared for his fans. And he was so honest You just didn't doubt that he was pure as a driven snow. I don't think his fans saw him as out to sell a ticket to his show. He was there to entertain them. He never had any money. He gave all his money away to other people. He was just a good person, and people knew that.
Despite all his unprecedented and monumental success as a singer, performer, in movies and on television, the one thing that gave Elvis his greatest joy in life was giving to others. Perhaps this, above all else, is the King's greatest legacy. His giving heart and the enormous generosity he showed throughout his life. Elvis grew up during the heart of the Great Depression, in a poor Mississippi family who lived a simple existence without material things or even some of the basic necessities of life. But even then, Elvis showed his generous nature.
When he was a teenager in Tupelo, he had an ice cream cone. He was sitting on the steps in front of his house eating his ice cream. And this black kid comes by, lives not too far. He said, Elvis, how you doing? He said, oh, fine. He said, oh, ice cream. Man, I wish I could afford an ice cream cone. And Elvis said, shoot, eat some of mine. And Elvis gave this black kid, I'm talking 1940s. It's not cool then in Mississippi, and he let this black kid share some of his ice cream. But that's just a small example of how it all started with him. He was a sharing person.
Very kind.
As a teenager, Elvis worked at a variety of jobs before his music career began. He worked as a movie usher and saved every cent he could to buy his parents a picture of Jesus.
Wow.
He once said it was the most favorite gift he had ever given to anybody. Even though Elvis went on
Till this day, other than houses and cars? Wow, that's huge. That hits right there, man.
to achieve incredible fortune and fame, he never ever forgot what it was like to be poor. He was extremely generous to many, many people.
Whoa.
The big TC.
Elvis looked buff right there in that picture. It's like a, what do you call them? Third baseman, you know?
TB ring that he's so famous for wearing that he made. So I made that ring. It took me.
Imagine Elvis being a bodybuilder, like, you know, huge.
It took me 3 tries to make that ring. The first ring I made, he gave away. And where it went, I don't think anybody knows. But the idea was he wanted a stage ring. He wanted a flashy big ring that would say, that's Elvis Presley's ring. So the second ring I made was a large horseshoe ring that he wore in Hawaii. And he ended up giving that ring away. He said, it's still in what I want. So the next ring I did.
How expensive were those rings he was making if he's giving them away? And who'd he give them to? Let me know down in the comments if you guys know. That's really juicy.
Designed the TCB ring. I actually made the ring out of balsa wood. Like you would make a model airplane. TCB. And I carved it out of balsa wood. I sawed out the letters. I made the entire ring out of balsa wood. Hand painted it with airplane dope and put rhinestones in it. Took it out there. He said, "This is exactly what I want." So then I made the original ring, and when I gave it to him, when I presented it to him,
can I see the ring?
The ring is so magnificent. But I wanted it to really show off, so I asked him to come downstairs to his dining room table, which is this wonderful Waterford chandelier hanging over it, you know. And so I opened the ring and box, took it out, put it on his finger. He just went bonkers. I've never seen him as excited about anything as he was. He just went crazy, and he said, "I want to do something for you. I know how hard you've worked to do this ring. So what can I do for you?" I said, "Well, I'd like to have that Lincoln you got parked out front." He said, "Oh man, that car is a house. That is my car." And I said, "I know, that's why I want it." And he said, "Well, you know what? You earned it. You can have it."
Ooh, wow.
Everybody mostly came in the back door.
And I thought he was joking about it. Like, I want that car. He was serious. Elvis gave it to him. Wow.
Especially
That's
Graceland.
cool.
And the only people that parked in front of Graceland was him. He had a key to the house. We didn't have a key to the house. So we'd park in the back and come in the back door. Now, the media later on called it the jungle room. We never called it that. We just called it the den off the kitchen. So I'm walking up, and there's plate glass there. And one of the guys, they told me about this later. One of the guys said, "Hey, Elvis, here comes GK." I said, yeah, cool, yeah, okay. He said, "But Elvis, it's his birthday." And Elvis said, "What? It's his birthday?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, look, I just bought this ring at Thunderbird Jewelers in Vegas, but I want GK to have it. While I detain him,
Wow.
I'll engage him in some kind of conversation. You guys run up to my room. It's in my jewelry case. It's a green emerald with 21 diamonds and 18 gold diamonds, 18 karat gold. Somehow get it in a box and slip it up and give it to me." So I
Wow.
walk in. We start talking. I said, "Hey," I said, "let me ask you, get this out of the way, because I'll sit around and be nervous about asking." He said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Elvis, the radio station wants to know. They're going to do this promo. If you can do like a drop for him or cut this liner thing for him." And I said, "Elvis, before you even answer, I know that you got a contract with RCA." And I said, "I know you can't do it." And I didn't get the rest of the sentence out. And he said, "Shut up." I said, "What?" And he took his arm around, swung it around, and somehow one of the guys had snuck up behind him and slipped it in his hand. And he came around with it and he said, "Happy birthday." I said, "What?" He said, "Open that up." And I opened it up and this ring was in there. I said, "Elvis, you son of a gun." And he said, "Yeah." He said,
Beautiful.
"I just want you to have."
Beautiful ring. Look at that. Wow.
Elvis also displayed enormous compassion for those who were sick or in need of medical assistance.
It's crazy,
Elvis-
too, because he still kept the ring, right? Yeah, I guess it's sentimental now to him. He didn't sell it. You know, he could have pawned that off, probably made so much money from that. Who knows how much it costs now, considering way back in the day.
Always remembered the vulnerability of illness and death from his own life. On January 8th, 1935, in that small two-room house in Tupelo, Mississippi, Gladys Presley gave birth to the twins she had been carrying.
Twins.
Jesse Garin Presley was born dead. 35 minutes later, his twin brother, Elvis Aaron Presley, was born at 4:35 a.m. Elvis then spent the first few weeks of his life in the charity ward of a Mississippi hospital. The loss of his twin brother, Jesse, had a profound effect on Elvis and how he perceived life.
Dang, that would have been so crazy. How life would have turned out if he would have had his twin brother. Would he have had Ben Elvis, right? The big superstar.
Studies of twins whose siblings had died in utero or in the early stages of life indicate that a significant and prolonged experience of loss remains in the surviving twin. Oftentimes, the surviving twin will question, "Why wasn't it me that died? Or did I do something to make him die?" They often feel guilty about their own survival. For Elvis, this feeling of guilt only increased as he achieved incredible fame and fortune. Parents, too, have a sense of guilt when one twin dies and often overcompensate to the surviving twin. Through her grief, Gladys Presley saw Elvis's survival as an omen, a sign that he was destined for greatness.
I like that. And I'm going to end it off at that. And then we will, watch the other parts next time we are on. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for watching, man. This is, this was good. It was almost sad. It was pretty sad, actually. And uplifting at the same time, and inspirational. Like, him giving away stuff inspires other people to do good for others that are struggling. But anyway, if you made it this far, guys, give this video a like if you enjoyed my reaction. Subscribe if you are new. That'd be greatly appreciated. I'm out of here, guys. Thank you for watching. Peace.
Get over here!